The Puck Portfolio with Andy McNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. I'm Andy McNeil, and on today's episode, I'll be joined, as always, by Nick Martin from DFO. Nick, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. Got our big Leonard debut tonight, so I'm excited to talk about that, and should be a fun one for Caps fans.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a new sponsor on this show, Bet365. Use the code NATION, all caps. I believe there's a special offer, but things have been kind of frantic this morning, so I don't really know what it is. But we'll find that out in due time, I'm sure. But yeah, use the code NATION when you sign up to Bet365. Anyway, yeah, let's get into this 10-game slate here on Tuesday. I guess starting off, any thoughts on last night's results, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I mainly watched the Flames game, which was a pretty crazy one. They've really, played their best hockey here, finishing up the stretch. So I think obviously a big result for them here keeps this wild card race interesting. And then I watched the Stars game again. I did bet on the Kraken as I've been kind of trying to fade the Stars here. And that Stars team just doesn't look very good. I'm just waiting for them to get exposed by a better team. So we'll see. Maybe they'll play at a higher level. I mean, it's easy to kind of be a little lackadaisical when you're still winning every game. But they gave up 36 shots again to the Kraken. And it feels like every time I watch them right now, the only reason they're good is Casey DeSmith. And obviously they have a lot of high-powered offensive stars. But we've kind of talked about this a lot, but I'm pretty interested to see how they do in the playoffs if they continue to play without Heiskanen, because that defense core looks pretty terrible.
Yeah, I was a little bit more interested in the Philadelphia Flyers as I was rooting for Matvei Michkov anytime goal. Did not get it, but man, he's looking pretty good since being free from the shackles of head coach John Tortorella, who was fired on I guess following Thursday's 7-2 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Flyers have played 3 games since then. They've won them all, and Michkov has been great. Like I said, he didn't get a goal on Monday against the Nashville Predators, but he did get 2 assists. That brings him to 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 3 games. So yeah, looking pretty good with 7 points in 3 games since Tortorella's firing. And I guess the Flyers surge here kind of plays into what I want to talk about next, and that's the Capitals and the Bruins, because whether by design or not, the Bruins are tanking. They have lost 8 in a row, and they haven't scored more than 2 goals in their last 7 games. And as a result, they now sit just 1 point ahead of the last place Buffalo Sabres in the Eastern Conference. Buffalo with 68, Boston with 69. The Flyers and Penguins have all jumped ahead of the Bruins. And I mean, they're just 1 point ahead of the Seattle Kraken as well. So, I mean, realistically, if things continue like they have been for the last couple of weeks, we could see Boston finish with the 4th worst record in the NHL, and I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I mean, they're improving their draft stock here, and while it's very unlikely that they'll end up winning the lottery, I mean, they're certainly improving their odds, and there are some, it's by all accounts a weak draft class this year, but there are some pretty intriguing names at the top of that list. James Haggins from Boston College comes to mind. I think there are some, and there are 3 or 4 very interesting centers at the top of that list too, which is something Boston could really use is a superstar center. If they can find one at the top of this draft class, that would be great. But over the last month, any thoughts on the top 4 or 5 players in the prospect rankings right now?
Yeah, I think dropping to the top 5 is a decently important cut line. So
yeah,
like you said, it's been pretty huge for the Bruins here and not so good for the Flyers. There's a certain portion of the fan base that wishes that coaching change came a little later, because it has, at least through 3 games led to a bit of a new coach bounce that could kind of be the gap between a fairly high touted star versus, kind of getting into that second tier in this draft. So yeah, that's kind of hurt them there. And I think for the Bruins, it works out good because some of these teams like Philly, it seemed like a bit of a toxic environment. They've lost so much over the last few years. I can see how Briere didn't want to stick it out with that situation. The Bruins, it's kind of a completely different thing, right? They were competing for most of the year. It's not like their players have been kind of stuck in this type of environment. It's not like they have young guys who are really suffering through it. So I feel like it really is working out well for them to just really kind of close out the stretch here, playing how they are just in the midst of a 5-game losing streak that's brought them right down to the bottom of the league.
8-game losing streak.
Oh, sorry. I had the NHL standings open, and they snap the losing streak if you lose in overtime.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. But yeah, speaking of how they're playing, according to Evolving Hockey, Boston ranks 32nd in expected goals and 31st in shot share at 5-on-5 since the beginning of March. In 14 games in March, they have generated just 21.5 shots on goal per 60 minutes in all situations. And that's the worst mark in the league during that stretch. They've also, like I said, they've been the worst offensive team in March, scoring just 2.06 goals per 60 minutes. And they also rank among the bottom 6 in goals against per 60 during that stretch as well. So, all things considered, it would be pretty surprising to see them improve in either of those areas. That said, there might be some help on the way here as Charlie McAvoy did practice in a regular jersey on Monday. Still not sure if he's going to be in the lineup anytime soon. Of course, he's been out since the Four Nations face-off, but definitely a step in the right direction from him. Honestly, I was kind of hoping as a Bruins fan that he'd just sit the rest of the season out. We don't need any help winning games. Charlie, just, take it easy, buddy. Get ready for next year. But we'll see. I mean, we've talked about it quite a bit on this show, how, David Pasternak's performance in the face of all of this has been, admirable to say the least, if not, much more than that. I mean, he's kind of slowed down as of late. The only guy who really hasn't slowed down is Morgan Geekie. I mean, he got 8 goals in the month of March. Last season, he set a career high with 17 goals in 76 games. But this year, he's already got 27 goals in 69 games. I would love to see him hit the 30 goal mark. I mean, I think just looking at him when he was acquired by the Boston Bruins, I thought there's more here. If he gets a bigger role, he's been a guy that has scored goals at a fairly high rate, given his place in the lineup. He's I think like a kind of a guy you can pencil in to be a 14-15% shooter. And I think while he might not be a 30 goal scorer every year, I do think this guy's a 20-plus goal scorer in the right situation, and somebody that the Bruins should absolutely be trying to hold on to this summer. Of course, he is a free agent, but they're hosting the Washington Capitals tonight. They've lost 3 in a row, but I don't think motivation will be a problem after an 8-5 loss to the Buffalo Sabres on their home ice. Pretty ugly one, I guess. The bright spot being that Ovechkin was able to tally another goal. He needs just 5 now to break Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal-scoring record. He's got 39 goals in 57 games this season. And yeah, like I said, just needs 5 more to break the record. Hasn't had a whole lot of success against the Bruins in recent seasons. Just 2 goals in his last 9 games since the start of the 2021-22 regular season against the Boston Bruins. But, while they haven't really looked too hot on the surface, I think the Capitals are playing pretty good. At 5-on-5. They rank what? I do have it here somewhere, but I guess I've kind of oh yeah, they ranked 9th in expected goals and 4th in shot attempts at 5-on-5. Only 4 teams have scored more goals per 60 minutes in all situations. That's since the start of March. And we've talked about it a bit. Charlie Lindgren, he's going to get the start tonight, which doesn't really come as a surprise after Logan Thompson was in goal for that ugly loss to the Sabres. He's been solid. I think he's allowed only more than 3 goals once since the start of January, and that's I think a stretch of 14 games. So given Boston's struggles on offense and defense, I think this is a pretty good spot to back the Capitals here at plus 128 on the puck line. I think I find it hard to see Boston scoring enough goals to stick around with this team. And of course, they've got a big debut happening tonight. The Capitals, number 8, 2023, number 8 pick Ryan Leonard. He signed his entry level contract with the Capitals on Monday after finishing his Boston College career. He's a Hobey Baker finalist this year, and he's going to debut tonight. He is just the first NCAA player with back-to-back 30-goal seasons since Cam Atkinson. So it's been a while. And he was also the Hockey East player, first player for the Eagles to be named Hockey East Player of the Year since Johnny Gaudreau. And of course, he also won MVP honors at the 2025 World Junior Championships. So I understand you like a Ryan Leonard prop tonight, Nick?
Yeah, I do. I think the prices have come down somewhat for him to score. I think everyone's kind of seen that he is going to skate on the top line along Strome and Protas, who are two of the team's 3 best playmakers. So he's in a great spot. Works out perfectly with him getting to debut at TD Garden. Didn't even have to travel to meet the team. So everything's kind of setting up well for him. Like you said, the Bruins have been pretty terrible defensively for the last while here. And we've seen comparable college players of, Leonard's kind of ilk come in and making an immediate difference in recent years. So obviously there's a big jump, but he's getting about as good a role as he can possibly get to come right in and produce. Plays versus the Bruins' terrible defense in his home rink. So yeah, I think betting him to score is a really good look. He's at plus 470. I think there's potential that number comes down significantly in the next sample of games. If anything, he is the primary goal scorer based on, you look, he's got 30 goals in 37 games this season on that top line. He's probably going to be the one who gets the majority of the shot attempts, if anything. So I think he's in a really good spot in a great matchup to immediately come out and make a difference. And, obviously there's a big jump to the NHL, like I said, but I think he's more than capable. Everyone's kind of expecting him to come in and be an immediate difference maker. So I don't know if we'll be seeing prices like plus 470 for him to score for very long.
No.
I also like the price. Sports Interaction had him at plus 105 to record 2 shots on goal. I think that's a great bet as well. That it seems like they're just setting him up, ready for him to play a huge role right out of the gates. And, their top 6 does have one relatively open spot. There's kind of been the 5 guys that have been excellent all year, and then the 6th spot's been kind of hit or miss. So yeah, I think he's set up for success here. I'm really excited to see him get into it. And I think the other thing is too, I don't really think we'll see Carberry stray from keeping him in this spot for most of this matchup, whether it looks like it's working out well or not. I don't really think it's like a game where he's going to be like, okay, this is not necessarily working. Like maybe he doesn't think Leonard's looking great and want to kind of kill his confidence and shoot him down to the 4th line or whatever. I don't really think there's much chance that happens. I think they're kind of going to stick him in the top 6 from now until the playoffs and hope, he can get going. He can feel comfortable because, they've pretty much wrapped up the top spot in the East here. And so I think that's
it certainly seems like they're setting him up to have a good night in front of friends and family tonight, right? So I would have to agree with you there that I doubt they're going to kind of sewer him if things don't go well right off the hop. But against this Bruins team, he might have a monster night. Who knows? So I think
love that line. I really do think, on paper, him with Strome and Protas looks like a really good unit. So I'm excited to see them get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it is confirmed that it is going to be Charlie Lindgren and Jeremy Swayman.
Lindgren's been great too. That's the other.
Sure.
Like we've talked about it, and now, if anything, the biggest fear for the Capitals right now is small sample, but Thompson's been horrible since he signed that contract. So I really hope he finds it soon. Like this is getting to the point where 2 more weeks of this, and there might be a bit of a controversy over who gets game 1 start.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't mind that it's Lindgren at all.
The Nashville Predators on the second half of a back-to-back here versus a rested Blue Jackets team, and you've got to play at this one, right?
Yeah, I do, and I posted it. It has moved a fair bit. I posted it yesterday, the Action app. It was at plus 197. It's still out there at plus 155, which I think is playable, and that's betting the Blue Jackets to win in the game to have over 5.5 goals. I think there's a lot of game scripts where we can see that one cash. The Predators game last night was kind of surprisingly low event. I feel like everyone kind of thought that would be a shootout, but I don't know if we'll see that replicated tonight. I feel like these Blue Jackets games, I've been really high on their offense bouncing back, and it has been better the last few. They've got Monahan back in the mix. I still think they're a pretty good offensive team, but they're always fighting an uphill battle with Merzlikins in goal, who's been pretty awful and pretty bad recently in specific. So I think we'll see Columbus get their share offensively in this game. I think you could consider betting their team total as well. But I don't know if we're seeing them win this game 4-0 or 4-1 very often. So I think it's a good spot to target the little parlay there of the over 5.5 and the Blue Jackets to win.
Yeah, and I guess quickly, I don't have a whole lot on this game that I want to talk about. The Canadians, they've actually beaten the Panthers 4 times in a row here, and I guess things are kind of looking good for them tonight. Of course, they're still an underdog, but it does look like Vitek Vanacek is going to get the start for the Panthers. He allowed 6 goals on 33 shots against in his last outing for the Panthers, and just overall has not looked good, which is no surprise coming over at the trade deadline. But Vanacek likely to start. Nothing has been confirmed as of right now. But I like the over 6 at -105 here. I think, it's going to be hard for the Canadians, especially, obviously Montembeault's been great this season, but he's struggled at times over this last little stretch. And I think it's going to be hard to keep the Panthers off the scoreboard. Of course, they've got Brad Marchand in the lineup now. That helps a little bit, making up for the absence of Matthew Tkachuk. But I think with Vanacek starting and just given the current form of the Canadians, I like the look on the over at -105 here.
Yeah, I think that's a good bet. I'm excited to see this one. It feels like the Canadians are kind of the lone Eastern Conference wildcard team that's kind of elevated their play down the stretch here. So big game tonight, and I think they play the Rangers tomorrow, right? So huge back-to-back here. Definitely an interesting matchup there.
Yeah, they've got a game in hand on the Rangers right now, heading into tonight's matchups. But both teams 77 points right now, and the Rangers own the tiebreaker with 7 more regulation wins than the Canadians. So yeah, big matchup tomorrow for Montreal. Big matchup tonight for sure. What do you want? I guess you have a play in the Red Wings and the Blues game, don't you?
The Sabres and the Senators.
Oh, the
I have
Sabres
one
and
I like.
Senators,
Yeah, I think backing Fabian Zetterlund to score is a good play, assuming Brady Tkachuk is out, which I think I thought I saw he was confirmed out. I see there's the added betting odds for him to score, which is the only reason I'm second guessing this. But anyways, I believe Tkachuk will be out. You could wait to see that. But Zetterlund was promoted to the top line with Tkachuk out. He's a good scorer. I don't think it's shown in Ottawa, but his greatest asset is his shot. He hasn't scored in 11 games there, but he started to get a lot more chances. Or last 4 games, he's had 1.47 expected goals, 20 shot attempts, and the majority of that time was still playing in the bottom 6. So I think this is a good time to buy on him with him being promoted to the top line. I like that he's going to play alongside Stützle. I think he's going to get some looks. I think plus 280 is just a little too long in this matchup. So I'm high on him getting a goal here. I think he's going to get off the schneid, get his first as a Senator. I think, everyone's going to be flocking to Dylan Cousins in this matchup, which I don't disagree with at all. He's been really good to this show since he got in Ottawa. We've kind of been riding his props here and there. He's at -105 to record a point, which I don't mind at all. But I think it's the surprise Zetterlund goal that is the best look on this game. And the Sabres have allowed the most goals against over the last month in the league, and I don't really see that turning around too much either. They've been getting pretty bad goaltending. I don't know if it's going to be Reimer or UPL in this game. Reimer's actually been the better of the 2 starters, so I feel like at this point you might actually be hoping for UPL. But either way, I don't think it's a bad spot.
Reimer likely as of right now.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. He's been the better starter. But yeah, I think we're getting a good price to back Zetterlund here.
All right. The Oilers and the Golden Knights. I don't want to call it a big game. I guess it's a bigger game for Edmonton because there is very little chance they'd have to pretty much run the table right now, and Vegas would have to do the exact opposite in order for Edmonton to erase this 9 point lead that the Vegas Golden Knights currently have on the Oilers for the race for the Pacific Division crown. But obviously, I'm sure Edmonton would like to regain home ice advantage in what is looking like a lock to be their first round opponent, the Los Angeles Kings, for the fourth postseason in a row. So I guess it is a big game in that respect, but it's going to be a tough one for the Oilers. Of course, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. They did get Leon Draisaitl back in the last game. He picked up right where he left off. He scored his 50th goal of the season to tie the game, then scored his 51st in overtime. He also added an assist in the game. He's now third in league scoring, just 6 points behind Nathan McKinnon. And he holds a 9-goal lead in the Rocket Richard Trophy race over William Nylander. So Edmonton was able to end a 2-game slide with the win, and they're now setting out on a Pacific Division road trip, 4 games, kicking off in Vegas on Tuesday. They're still without captain Connor McDavid, defenseman Matthias Ekholm. Both players might join the team later on in the trip, though. So that's something that we'll have to watch throughout the week. But they're currently not traveling with the team. Neither is goaltender Stuart Skinner after missing the last 2 games. He's also staying behind, but like McDavid and Ekholm, he could join the Oilers on this trip as well. Trent Frederick and Evander Kane are traveling with the team, and looks like they're going to be skating with the team this week. I doubt either player is close to making their way into the lineup, but good sign for the Oilers as we head towards the playoffs anyways. And yeah, it still kind of remains to be seen whether 2018 second round pick Olivier Rodrigue will make his first start in goal on the trip. He saw a little action in Seattle in that blowout loss. It looked pretty good in the 20 minutes that he did play. But the Oilers aren't playing back-to-back games on this trip, so who knows if they're actually going to get him in and get him a start. So right now the crease belongs to Calvin Pickard, who is 18-8-1 this season, an .899 save percentage, 2.71 goals against average. But according to Evolving Hockey's goals saved above expected metric, he is below average this season. So tough spot for the Oilers to be in over these next 4 games. Like I said, they are 9 points behind the Vegas Golden Knights. They're 2 points behind the Los Angeles Kings, and both teams have played 73 games. So like I said, it looks like an absolute lock that the Kings and the Oilers are going to meet for the 4th year in a row in the first round of the playoffs. Vegas, however, they are looking to win their 7th in a row on Tuesday. They swept a 3-game homestand against Atlantic Division teams. Then they won all 3 games on a 3-game road trip against Central Division teams. They've gone 2-1 against the Oilers this season, but they lost the last meeting in Edmonton on December 14th by a score of 6-4. They are also missing some key players due to injury. Of course, Thomas Hertl, who has 31 goals and 59 points in 70 games this season, has missed the last 3 games with a shoulder injury. He's not going to be available this week, and it's unclear when he is going to return. So that's a pretty big loss for Vegas. He's been playing great as of late. He's tied for the team leading goals and ranks 3rd on the team in scoring, despite playing just 58 games this season. Alex Pietrangelo has also missed the last 3 games due to a lower body injury. He did practice on Monday, but he was paired with Ben Hutton, who is typically a healthy scratch for the Vegas Golden Knights. So Pietrangelo could miss Tuesday's game as well. I haven't seen any update on that just yet. Ilya Samsonov also considered day-to-day, but he was probably never going to start this game anyway, so that doesn't really matter. I mean, Aiden Hill has been really good over the last little bit, 10-1-1 with a .932 save percentage and a 1.83 goals against average since February 6th in 6 regular season meetings versus the Oilers. As a member of the Vegas Golden Knights, he is 3-2-1 with a 3.03 goals against average and an .894 save percentage. Not great, but his current form much better than that. He did allow 6 goals on 34 shots in the last meeting against Edmonton, but he's also got a shutout over the Oilers this season as well. This season, according to Evolving Hockey, Vegas ranks 7th in expected goals and shot attempts at 5-on-5. And in all situations, they rank 4th in goals and 5th in goals against per 60 minutes. And only 3 teams have generated more shots on goal per 60 minutes. Yeah, pretty good form right now for Vegas. I know you've been riding the William Karlsson look these last few games, and that has worked out pretty good by the looks of things. But I ended up going with Shea Theodore to get to go over 0.5 assists at plus 132. I mean, he's got 44 assists in 58 games this season. He hadn't played since the Four Nations face-off, but he's registered 3 assists in 3 games since returning. And I mean, given his first pairing role, he's a fixture on the top power play. I think he should have plenty of opportunities to factor into the scoring tonight. He's not a big shooter, so if he does factor into the scoring, it's probably going to be with an assist. And I think plus 132 is a pretty attractive price when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think that's a great bet, and I'm honestly kind of tempted by just betting the Knights to win this game in regulation.
Same.
That was kind of one of the ones that I was going to look at a little later on in the day. But I think I don't think there's a better case towards Draisaitl's Hart Trophy than Saturday night's game.
Yeah.
Not just because obviously he ties it and gets the winner, but the underlying numbers. The Oilers were excellent when Draisaitl's line was on the ice, and I think Podkolzin played really well. Arvidsson played well, but that is, I mean, you look at the other guys in the Hart race and at the top of the league leaders in scoring, no one's playing with guys like that at all.
Yeah.
And when Draisaitl wasn't on the ice, we've talked about his defensive impact this year. The Oilers got outplayed pretty badly by the Flames. I feel like that game was pretty much night and day when he was on the ice and when he wasn't. And that's kind of been a lot of games this season. So right now on Bet365, it's a pick 'em between him and Connor Hellebuck, but over who's going to win the Hart. So I kind of lean with Draisaitl there. I think it's going to be a really interesting finish to the year. But yeah, all these games are really important to the Hart race too, because right now it is really tight. But yeah, I think outside of Draisaitl, there's a lot of concerns on the Oilers right now. Wallman's played really good. I think defensively they've hung in not bad, but they're not getting good goaltending. And you outlined even Pickard. He's got a good record, but his goals saved above expected rating is not good.
Yeah,
and
he gets the weaker matchups, right? I mean,
for sure, yeah. And I mean, but it's been the same with Skinner. I think the Oilers are defending pretty decently this year. They're just getting tanked by their goaltending. So I think there's definitely some concerns surrounding the Oilers entering this tough matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. And I guess I think, while it is a close race for the Hart Trophy right now, I think these, depending on how long McDavid is out for, we still don't know when he's going to be back in the lineup. I think Draisaitl can really help his case by, continuing to perform at a high level without him, which he's done all season in any of these situations. And I mean, he's, hasn't played with McDavid a ton this season. So I think that's going to go a long way for him.
I agree. It's more for the optics though, if anything, because now it's just like people can't say that he plays alongside McDavid, which he does on the power play, obviously, but
for sure. But his even strength scoring is just insane this year. So I mean,
it is, and it's been outside of losing game scripts a lot of time with Arvidsson and Podkolzin, as we've talked about. So I think what Draisaitl's done has been incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. My final bet for Tuesday is Leo Carlson, anytime goal plus 240. I think that's a pretty attractive price when we're talking about their opponent, the San Jose Sharks, who have obviously been awful defensively this season. And Carlson's been streaky, right? Like he gets hot and he gets cold and gets hot again, get cold again. But he's hot right now. He's got 6 goals in his last 6 games, 4 goals in his last 3 games. He scored in all 3 of those matchups against some, pretty decent teams outside of the Boston Bruins, obviously. But I think this is a great matchup for him. Obviously, he's shooting the puck quite a bit too. I mean, he's got 11 shots in his last 3 games, which is hasn't been the norm, I guess, for him this season. So that's a good sign. But I think plus 240 is a great price for this matchup.
Yeah, I don't know if Cronin's kind of adjusted his tactics a little bit, or maybe the Ducks are just kind of tuning him out down the stretch here. But the data surrounding their games has looked a little different recently, and more of the top young guys are getting going offensively. Like you say, Carlson's been great recently. I think this is a really good bet, and they've been scoring since the start of March. They're 10th in goals for per game.
Yeah.
They've been allowing a lot more goals against. I don't know if the goalies finally come down to earth, or maybe they're, giving up even worse quality of chances, but maybe a bit of a combination of the two. But yeah, Ducks games have been pretty high event recently. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one be, kind of a fairly open shootout between two teams that are out of it. So, yeah, I like betting on Carlson to get a goal here.
All right, before we wrap this thing up, any other bets that you like for Tuesday, or anything you want to look ahead to for Wednesday?
No, I didn't have any for tomorrow. I did screw up I thought that Rangers Canadians game was tomorrow, but they played the Wild, so I must have had that wrong. It must be next week. But yeah, I didn't have anything or any lines that I thought jumped off the page. It's just ones that'll for sure move overnight. So yeah, we'll have to save those for tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. That does it for today's episode of the Puck Portfolio. Of course, thanks for joining us on another episode, and we will be back on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the DFO Fantasy and Betting YouTube channel.